All right, yeah, we should be getting to Capcom here, so let's see what they have for Capcom. Capcom. Exclusives.
Such a classic logo.
Welcome to the Capcom E3 Showcase. I'm your host, Rachel Querico, aka Seltzer, and I'll be your guide as we walk through the latest releases, news, and updates from Capcom. We'll hear from the Resident Evil Village team, share some news from the world of Monster Hunter, and get the latest on Ace Attorney. Then we'll wrap up with some updates from our friends at Capcom Fighters.
Cool.
So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Our first stop today, Resident Evil Village.
He's got a Dante
The
jacket
Resident
on.
Evil franchise continues to pioneer the latest and greatest in survival horror. The team has been blown away by the response to Resident Evil Village, which launched last month. It brought the world another chapter in this decades-long story as the franchise celebrates its 25th anniversary this year.
Like, man, look at that hot chick.
I'm honored to be able to introduce Tsuyoshi Kanda, producer on Resident Evil Village, with a special message
Isn't that
for
what
the
happened in
fans.
Resident Evil with that large woman?
Yeah, that's Village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another
Her.
The large one right there.
They're like, she's supposed to be scary. It's like, look at that hot chick.
I like a tall woman with a big ass.
Here's Rose! She's everything to me.
I think it's time you left things in my hands. Go on, rest now.
Heart.
I love the logo for Village.
It's pretty good.
Hi everyone, my name is Tsuyoshi Kanda, producer on Resident Evil Village. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank everyone who's played since we launched the game in May. We hope you're enjoying this new chapter in survival horror. As a reminder, everyone who purchases Resident Evil Village will gain free access to our online multiplayer title, Resident Evil Re:Verse, where players go head-to-head with their favorite Resident Evil heroes and bioweapons. I'm now happy to announce that Resident Evil Re:Verse will go live next month across all supported platforms. So head into the fray to celebrate the Resident Evil 25th anniversary.
Interesting.
Additional DLC. Okay.
Popular demand. No wonder.
Thank you, Kanda-san, for that wonderful update. Next up, some long-awaited news from the world of Monster Hunter. Whether it's adventuring alongside monsters or battling them with friends, we've got something for you. First, let's dive into the brand new story-based RPG entry to the series, Monster Hunter Stories 2: Wings of Ruin.
Why so sad?
This was his fate. Red may have been strong and skilled, but against the awesome power of nature, he was merely a man. He never stood a chance.
All around, things just kept getting worse. But I heard that Guardian Ratha had survived and returned to Hekolu Island. I went there to see Red's old monster again. Then, of course, that's when I met you.
You were given Red's kinship stone, and now a Rathalos egg. This is destiny.
This is the legendary monster, Ray's Wing Ratha, the monster with the wings of ruin.
It's said that a beat of its wings can bring about waves of destruction.
Many people believe there's a connection between the strange happenings and the wings of ruin. The pits are appearing everywhere, and they're emitting a strange light.
Like the idea of like butterflies.
They do make it really cheap.
What's this whole idea of forming kinship with monsters? How do you control them?
It's not about control. Monsters help riders of their own will. And the bonds between monsters and
Music
riders
is not as good as How to Train Your Dragon.
just like your bond with Sukino.
Sukina. Oh.
Sukino.
Oh, okay.
What kind of power does Ratha really have? Why are all of these pits appearing? And who are those people who want to take Ratha for themselves? All I have are questions.
If there's worry or doubt in your voice, Ratha will become anxious too. He needs to know that you will protect him no matter what.
I can sense the flames of his life force weakening. The burden of such great power is too much for his body to bear.
A voice. Can you hear it?
Riders can bond with monsters. Surely you can groove with fellow humans.
They have the power of kinship. They're friends. They're monsties. Humans carry the strength of everyone they meet.
Yeah.
That makes them strong.
I want to say monster.
My friends here taught me that. I believe in the strength of humanity.
Oh, that's my headcanon.
It does have like a Bond thing, kind of a Pokemon or a How to Train Your Dragon kind of thing. I'm glad they showed more of it. I think we saw something about that before, but whatever they showed was just kind of like this, and it didn't.
Yeah,
really
I like
have
that
much.
trailer a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's repeating.
Fight with the puppy.
Health of Symphonia, or Health of the Spirit.
New Monstie.
Monstie. July 15th. Trial version 2015.
June 25th.
2015 would be a long time ago. Oh, cool. Amiibos.
Looks pretty epic, right? And how about that announcement? The canine companion Palamute from Monster Hunter Rise will be joining Monster Hunter Stories 2 as one of the new Monsties in the first free title update coming soon after the game's release.
That's cool, it's free.
You can get an early peek at the game with the Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin trial version starting on June 25th, which also carries your progress over to the full game release just a few weeks later on July 9th. That's not the only way to join the hunt. Millions of you made Monster Hunter Rise a huge success earlier this year, and we have even more content coming, including a new collaboration on the Rise. Let's find out more.
I haven't played Rise.
Let's go! Gotta try Monster Hunter at some point.
I do think Rise would be more my alley than Stories, though.
Rathalos is no runt. Moon's blessing emerge. Get ready. I have a good feeling.
It's like a gut-sized sword for that cat.
Moon's blessing emerge.
Jeez. It got so much bigger when he took it off his back.
Run! Grappling hook.
The spear jump off thing is kind of cool.
Fair means business.
Black leather legs. Play possum. Oh, you can feign death like in WoW, yes! I love feigning death.
Pamura is like my second home.
You think you can take on Rondine?
Like,
The noise they were making made me laugh.
yeah.
I like the little birds that you can get. I like little pet birdies.
There has never been a better time to be a Monster Hunter fan, with all the new updates to Monster Hunter Rise and the launch of Monster Hunter Stories 2 this summer. We can't wait to hear about your own stories of adventure. Well, that's not the only thing Capcom has in store for us this July. Fans of Phoenix Wright will have new chapters to explore with the release of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. North American and European future attorneys will finally be able to get their hands on the Great Ace Attorney Adventures and the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, which were previously only available in Japan. You'll travel back in time to the late 19th century Japan and London to play as Ryunosuke Naruhodo, Phoenix Wright's
Meiji
ancestor, in this action-packed prequel. Now let's hear more about the story.
So then, let us unravel this mystery.
Nothing you could show me that would stop me from buying this game.
Let's see. Welcome to the center of the world.
If they told you the entire
Britain's
story,
mighty
right?
capital, London.
This country is incredible. I will become a lawyer. I have to.
So the thing is, the more of them I buy, the more of them they
and discover what events led to this curious
That's what I believe.
Who are you? Herlock Sholmes. You must have heard of him.
Herlock Sholmes.
We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san.
Let us engage in the art of deduction.
It's like a steampunk.
Really
yeah.
cool.
Well, what have we here?
Give us a book.
It would seem the truth is now tantalizingly close.
The defense demands its right to a cross-examination. Objection! Your testimony completely contradicts the facts.
The judge.
His hair fell out.
My lord, with all due
The
respect,
idea
this
of
is
a
an
lawyer with a sword.
outrage.
Weird having voice acting in the Phoenix Wright game.
Yeah. The scales of justice tip the other way, Rick.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You're the
I don't say I
best
don't
lawyer
damn
in
to
the
know the other
world.
ones that I've played. I've only played like the one that.
So we have 10 new
Sold.
cases and 8 mini escapades where you can take on the role of a defense attorney. Now, we all want to see some gameplay, right? Let's take a closer first look at 2 gameplay features new to the franchise in the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles: Dance of Deduction and Summation Examination.
That sounds amazing.
Minor spoilers,
Hello,
maybe.
I'm Jonathan, Capcom's marketing brand manager for the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
Where to?
The Supreme Court in Whitehall, if you wouldn't mind.
The Capcom team is thrilled to present 2 new gameplay features:
Isn't there an Ace
Dance of
Attorney
Deduction
anime?
and Summation Examination,
seasons.
coming to the Ace Attorney series.
These 2 seasons that I've seen.
While investigating to prove your
I
client's
felt like everything we
innocence,
saw was from gameplay.
players will come
you know?
across conspicuous situations
Like Herlock
that
Sholmes
require
talking was
further
probably
examination
from the game.
with the help of Ryunosuke's legal aid Susato and the brilliance of deduction from Detective Herlock.
Oh. Whoa, I have scissors.
Guy doesn't look suspicious at all.
Herlock will proceed to present his logic and reasoning spectacular, a grandiose yet flawed series of conjectures.
That's of a villain. I don't know why, but I want Herlock Sholmes to be voiced by Steins Gate.
Oh. Okabe?
Okabe, yeah.
I really like his voice in this. That is a copious beard.
It is. He was.
I quite like it.
His name is Villain.
Villain.
All the names in Sherlock Holmes or in Ace Attorney are great.
Ryunosuke and Susato will then discuss
Edie's
to
favorite
correct
is
the
hairy
flaws
butts.
in Herlock's deductions.
Hairy butts.
At this point, players will be prompted to search for clues that help identify the errors in the detective's logic and reveal the truth to the mystery. As players present new evidence and observations, Herlock will amend his deductions based on the new information.
He's a fake.
Upon uncovering the truth,
scream.
Ryunosuke and Herlock enter into a semi-metaphorical, semi-literal dance that brings them to the conclusion of the dance of deduction.
I was just going to mention that.
You're not a man at all. You're a woman, judging by the length and sheen of your hair.
True identity. Novovich Ballets.
Prima donna.
The next page.
Lena Pavlov.
Seems great.
That was not her nose.
No, she had a fake nose. You gotta trick her.
Oh.
I imagine.
You've seen those. You know those glasses.
Her voice also must have been somewhat of a giveaway.
It'd be great if they actually dubbed it as like some grizzled old Russian man.
Elementary.
In courtroom battles, players will attempt to convince 6 jurors of the innocence of their client. Their progress will be displayed and represented by 2 scales of justice, one black, representing a guilty verdict, and one white, representing a not guilty verdict.
Objection!
In
There we
summation
go.
examination, take
Oh,
the
it's a
stand and
vampire.
face off against the jurors, all of whom provide explanations as to why they've reached their guilty verdict.
You'll have to identify conflicting statements and sway the jury in your favor. Examine each statement carefully and select 2 contradicting jurors to call out the flaws in their logic.
Oh, I love the remix of the old theme.
Objection! The stabbing directions are different. Explain post haste.
Be ready to provide evidence from the court record to help prove the contradiction in their claims. When you successfully point out one of these contradictions among the jurors, you might just change their minds, too. With a slam of their fist, each juror you persuade will send a fiery ball towards the scales above and literally tip the scales of justice in your favor.
That's cool.
Bring each contradiction to light and persuade the jury to help prove your client's innocence.
Objection! My lord, with all due respect, this is a
This has just been a small taste of the exciting new gameplay features in the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We are very excited to get this game in the hands of both new fans and diehard fans alike.
That does look
Thanks
fun.
for watching.
I am a diehard fan. I love that.
Oh.
It already
PS4,
seems like I have
Switch,
a bunch
and
of games to
Steam.
catch up on.
Yeah.
There are some exciting new
27th.
adventures and titles to look forward to. Well,
I believe
that's
the
a look at the new
trilogy also
premieres from
came out on all of
Capcom.
those
But what about
platforms.
esports?
Definitely came out on
Let's
Steam and
close out
Switch.
today's showcase with a few words from 2 of the stars of Capcom Fighters, Rob TV and Vicious. They'll tell us what's been going on with Capcom esports, including updates on the Capcom Pro Tour, Intel World Open, Street Fighter League, and all the other content on Capcom Fighters. Over to you guys.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Capcom esports presentation for E3 2021. My name is Vicious, commentator for the Capcom Pro Tour as well as Street Fighter League, here with competitive Street Fighter V player and host extraordinaire,
One of my favorite
Hollywood,
tag team names,
Rob
Vicious
TV. What's
and
going on, Rob?
Delicious.
Oh my goodness, Vicious. Host
What?
extraordinaire. That just sounds beautiful. It has a ring to it. And I think that's the perfect word to describe what we have for everyone today. Street Fighter V, Capcom E3. It just feels right and you feel the electricity in the air.
Nice!
Nice! What? That was nasty. And there might be some people at home, Vicious, who don't fully know what competitive Street Fighter V is.
Who's the
The
guy in
long
Street
and
Fighter
short
with
of
the
it is
belly
this.
that's missing?
We travel all
Yeah,
around the world,
he was the main
state to
boss from
state,
Street Fighter
country to
4.
country, and we try to bring our opponent's life bar from 100
what was his
all the
name?
way down to 0
Started with
and
an
feel
S, I
pretty
think.
goddamn good doing it.
That's right, Rob. If you think you're the best in your region, sign up for Capcom Pro Tour to prove it and become possibly a world champion at Street Fighter V.
Sign up for your region.
Perfect. The way he looked at the camera.
Seth. Seth's his name, huh?
Expect another man's controller.
So in this
That
year's
guy's trying
CPT
like, I don't wanna look.
overall, it's a series of tournaments that have $5,000 on the line for each tournament. But
Seth,
that
yeah,
money
that-
alone, that's not what's really at stake here. It's about making it to the granddaddy of them all, Capcom Cup.
Item just resetting grand finals of Capcom Cup.
So behind me, you can see in all of its glory, the Capcom Pro Tour 2021 official stage and set. And that's a place that you are very, very familiar with.
That's right. We take all of our events and broadcast it live from this stage, and we check out all of the top competitors from each and every one of these regions. And speaking of, the Capcom Pro Tour has shaped up a lot. 2021, we have 32 events going on in the Capcom Pro Tour, spanning across 19 different territories. So there's so many
playing as Dan.
opportunities
Man,
for players
19
from
territories.
around the world to get that ticket into Capcom Cup this season. I'm absolutely excited because, again, that is a big change from what 2020 was into what we could expect for 2021.
And Mago is your first qualifier for Japan for the Capcom Pro Tour.
Not only can you catch the Capcom Pro Tour live on the Capcom Fighters channel, you can do so on a plethora of platforms. We have it on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Of course, if you don't catch it live, you can also check out the VODs for all the competitive studying you would need to become a successful Street Fighter V player, as well as catching some of the community-focused content that we have on Capcom Fighters. We have No Neutral, the official pre-show of the Capcom Pro Tour. We have sets where we take players from around the world and play off in an exhibition first to 10. Not only that, actually, we do have Street Fighter League that's happened season after season, non-stop action, 6 teams of 3, duke it out in this battle tournament series to see who will walk away with the championship and the $150,000 prize pool.
Street Fighter League is something that you don't want to miss because normally we only have 1v1 content. But now you actually have your teammates at your back and every decision that you make is not just about you anymore.
Look for more news on Street Fighter League
Actually,
later this
more
year.
than 2 if you count the
It's
animated.
Oki time. What's gonna happen?
Nice.
He checks it.
You know what, the Chun-Li story one?
Yeah.
What's happening?
It's so good.
Let's not forget, the Intel World Opening is happening right now. Top players representing 11 regions around the world are competing for their place in the World Finals happening next month. Be sure to check out the official website for more information, including current standings and broadcast schedule.
To commemorate this event, everyone who logged in during this period will receive an exclusive competitor title and dojo object. You do not want to miss this.
I highly recommend everyone to stay tuned for future Capcom Pro Tour updates on the
I'm surprised
Capcom
it's all on
Fighters
Street
channel.
Fighter. Do they have
Again, we've
Capcom
had
has
so
other
many
fighters,
events so
don't they?
far. We started off with the
Just
Japan
Street Fighter's the biggest
region.
one right
We've had
now?
a couple of more events going on
guess.
afterwards,
Yeah.
but the action does not stop. In fact, we're going to be continuing off
Probably got
with the
more tournaments than the
Midwest
others.
region for the Capcom Pro Tour. I know you're definitely excited about that.
100%. I mean, of course, your boy is from Ohio. Make sure you guys tune in to see the tournament.
You do not want to miss some of the best Street Fighter V players in
KO.
the world compete.
So
I dare you to find better Street Fighter. I dare you.
This is a game about being a world warrior. Capcom Cup tournament play.
Obviously, they got a rivalry.
I'm the best in the world.
This game has changed the lives of so many people here.
Nice. Oh, the pop-off. That's what I'm talking about.
I told you he's gonna go to the limit.
Blow his jacket lit up.
This
Like
is
an
the
Akuma.
ultimate Street Fighter V experience. This is Capcom Pro Tour.
Midwest qualifier. GGS.
Thanks, guys. It's been a really exciting season so far, and I can't wait to see how this plays out on the road to Capcom Cup. Remember to check out Capcom Fighters' Twitch and YouTube channels for more information and to watch the latest matches. So that's a wrap for Capcom at E3 this year. Let's recap what we all saw. Resident Evil Village is back with the latest installment of the survival horror experience and RE-Verse as part of the franchise's 25th anniversary. We have new adventures to embark on in the world of Monster Hunter with Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, and Monster Hunter Rise. And don't forget to go back in time with the great Ace Attorney Chronicles to tap into the family history of Phoenix Wright and solve new cases. Finally, don't miss out on the esports fun. Make sure you catch the latest matches with Capcom Fighters. There really is something for everyone here today. But don't go anywhere yet. Join the conversation on Twitter and make sure you check out the Capcom virtual booth on the E3 portal to watch all these videos again and more. I'm Rachel Querico, aka Seltzer. Thank you for being part of the Capcom experience at E3 this year.
All right, that's it.
Yeah, they only had a half hour.
What if they have a fridge or something though? We should.
They might.
We missed it.
We need to start
last
waiting
time.
till just before
we missed the mini
they go
fridge.
to E3 thing.
Let me see what kind of kitchen appliance they
A
have.
mini fridge.
Well, that was Microsoft.
I know. I'm saying
They don't,
I
have,
see.
they don't even have a
top of it
console.
and say objection for it to open.
Let's just see. Maybe it's like a mini fridge controller.
A mini fridge controller. Where would you do that?
Keep like a candy bar in it.
In the controller?
Yeah. I can dream.
You can dream of a candy bar?
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think that's it for that one there. We don't have too long. It's only about 4 minutes before they start up their final showcase, which is going to be Razer, which is going to be most likely a lot more of not so much games, but it's going to be more of maybe accessories or maybe what's coming to like some industry stuff, especially for streaming or just gaming in general. So, Capcom basically covered Monster Hunter, Ace Attorney, Resident Evil Village. I know Rick, the highlight for him, well, one thing he was looking forward to, he didn't need anything else probably, was Ace Attorney. With what they showed, Rick, what do you think?
No, that was always going to be a day one purchase for me, and I've been staying away from it because I knew I was going to buy it anyway, but seeing it looks really cool. It's really weird to hear voice acting in a Ace Attorney game.
Mm-hmm.
You hear it in the anime, obviously, but it's a very weird addition. I've played several of them, but none of the ones that I played have had voice acting in it. But I think it'll be really cool to go back to the Meiji area. The Sherlock Holmes style character seems amazing, and the writing seems as funny as ever, which is really what makes those games. Like the puzzle solving and the courtroom drama is all fun, but
sure,
it's really the writing that carries those games, and the characters as well.
Things like Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, seems really good. Can't wait to play it, and hopefully they'll. I know that the Phoenix Wright trilogy sold really well. Hopefully this one does as well, and they continue bringing the Phoenix Wright games that were only in Japan to America and on the Switch, or there were also some that came out on phones. I would like to get those on the Switch as well.
That would
someday.
be cool. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe at some point would be good. Besides that, the other thing that I was interested in was from Resident Evil Village. One was they announced some new DLC on the way, that they would have more information on that later at some point. But I haven't seen, personally, this Reverse thing. Have you guys seen it or anything?
No,
Or
I haven't seen it before.
I mean, they've tried Resident Evil multiplayer a few times. It's never really worked out very well, but maybe it will this time.
Sure. I have to look up some more on it to see kind of what it is. But they did say that you get it for free if you get Resident Evil Village, which is interesting. I also saw like characters from various Resident Evil games, including 7 that I played. They had Leon in there. I believe Claire was in there. So it looks interesting. But yeah, that was the first time of me seeing it. But besides that, I don't feel like they had too much else really for Resident Evil. Monster Hunter Stories, I feel like we got more on it than we had in the last time we saw anything from that.
Yeah.
But most of it has been about new updates coming that are going to be free, which is cool. A lot of new content, whether paid or not paid. So. and then a bunch of esports fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I think that does it for Capcom.
Yeah, not too much. They only had about 30 minutes. I wasn't sure what all they're going to show. I feel like they gave most of what people probably were expecting. There wasn't really anything new or anything that people weren't expecting there.